Dear some ordinary gamers, I've wrote you, but you still ain't call. I left my name, my address, and
all right, man. All right.
Maybe he's on like a really important video call. No, I'm talking about bad beer.
You're putting us in a position to have to defend Mudahar here.
You weren't alleging. You were materially accusing me of being a fraud.
Which you are. They're saying they can't find a single digital footprint about this person.
Also a chance I might get struck with lightning tomorrow, but you know, and that's still.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Kmplxity, back with my co-host, the one and only Zeph Socials, and we're continuing on. I should have let you stay. And we are continuing on with the MamaMax. This is this part 1. This was the intro from last time. So we're on part 1, background, DM, and evidence. Let's see if there's any actual evidence.
Evidence? That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. Let's get to it. Let's go. I'm excited. Let's go. I'm ready for this evidence. You know how long I've been waiting for this shit? You know how long I've been waiting for this shit?
I'm pretty sure it's just evidence that Mudahar is a liar.
Ooh.
That's it. Which we all already knew. We already knew.
Spicier than Mudahar's tea.
Well, you know, them Indians love curry, so he can handle the spice.
You finally got it. You got it.
Actually, our story begins much earlier, in January of 2020, when I first met Mudahar Anas. And being a fan of his content, I really looked up to him.
Bro, he's stating that the story with the survivors started at that point in time. Not, oh, my story, my history with Maximilian started at this time. Bro. Dear some ordinary gamers, I've wrote you, but you still ain't call. I left my name, my address, and all
right, man. All right.
Immediately, I could tell that he likes to talk about himself and brag about his achievements, which was fine. He is a very successful influencer.
This coming from the, I could literally end you, Charlie. I'm the pedo hunter. Like, come on, bro.
Coming from the dude that talks like he's the main character all the time? Wow.
You literally had to use a voice changer, bro. Come on.
And there was a lot that we all learned from him. He loved getting drunk with the boys.
That's alcoholism.
And he would often gossip about other YouTubers.
Some alcohol. You're telling me those iconic moments? Like, come on.
For real.
Come on.
It just seems like everyone who used to be Max's friend just doesn't like him anymore. I wonder what that could be.
Wonder why.
Pretending to be friends with everyone. And gossip.
Hey, look, it's Spencer before Camden got her. I'm just kidding. She looks a million times better than Spencer.
Other YouTubers, despite pretending to be friends with everyone. But there was one time he got so drunk he started heckling customers at one of the bars in the San Antonio Riverwalk.
I assume.
You ever get drunk? You ever get drunk?
I assume.
It's a crime to come party.
I assume we're gonna get some proof for this, right?
He actually got kicked out because of it. Afterward, we started drinking at
so no proof? All right, cool.
The hotels, and he was talking about his self-hatred and suicidal ideations. But that only made us all the more supportive and caring of him. I became closer with Nexpo and Night Docs due to our geographic proximity to each other.
Dude, why do you have to stretch the video? Because we live close together. Because of our geographic proximity to one another, I was able to actually sniff his butthole even more. Like, bro, Jesus Christ, man. And guess what happened with Nexpo and Night Dogs? You're not friends. You're not friends anymore. Like, it seems like everyone whose lives you go into
is in the bag. Put the fries in the bag with your sentences, bro.
Max, it looks like you use a lot of $10 words and $2 sentences, bro. Like, for no reason, man. This isn't Scrabble. This isn't words with your friends. Do I understand what you're saying? Yes.
Costco products in a Dollar Tree.
Yeah, man. Like, Jesus Christ.
But I would occasionally check up on Mudahar or ask him for advice regarding certain projects. And whenever we did see each other every year or so for YouTuber events, he always paid for drinks and food and was very generous with his money. Maybe a little too frivolous, I don't make as much as my peers since I don't take sponsorships and I stopped producing merch. And
Well,
Yeah,
is
you
it
had that
frivolous? Maybe
Patreon.
too frivolous?
You had that Patreon rolling in though. Let's not forget that, buddy.
Are we sure? Are we sure he used frivolous in the right way?
Believe
That's
so.
what I was honed in on.
Frivolous? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We checked. He used it correctly.
don't make any ad revenue, so it was difficult for me to keep up with their lifestyles. But seeing them was always worth it. I have many great memories with these guys. But over time, Mutahar was clearly becoming more and more self-centered. Specifically, I remember at VidCon 2022.
Oh my gosh, all of these testimonials are happened in person, over the phone, at a time in which no one's recording. There's just no evidence for it, but trust me, bro.
He would disrespectfully
Muta, do we need a code for the B&B? Guys, blank, new address, little bit from the last place. No, I'll get keys. Da, 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 da.
make decisions that went against the group.
Oh, hold on. What? MamaMax.
He started spreading the rumor.
Wait,
disrespect.
how does this show that he's making a decision that disrespects the group? What am I looking at? He got an Airbnb that somehow disrespected your group? What? I don't understand. What the fuck does this mean?
Make decisions that went against the group. He started spreading the rumors about night docks.
Still no evidence that he was the one who spread that, but yeah, okay, let's keep pushing that narrative.
Calling him a predator that abuses his kids. He was slandering and making fun of Glink and Lightwave. He started calling Blame It on Jorge and Sakura Stardust vomit-holics who can't hang in his mansions. And he didn't want to hang.
Where? Wait, where does he say that? Hold on. 3 of the rooms, they're covered and the covers are ruined, some with bloodstains and vomit. Wait, where does he vomit on the sheets? Where does he say that they're vomit-holics? Nowhere does he say that they're vomit-holics. He's literally just saying that they got drunk and vomited all over his shit. Message from the housekeepers, items needed to be replaced. Okay, so you guys got drunk and Mutahar bought the Airbnb, to which people threw up in the Airbnb, meaning it's coming out of Muta's pocket. Yeah, I'd be annoyed too. What do you mean?
The worst he's going is like, hey, maybe next time, guys, can we not go a little crazy? Or can you at least make it to the toilet?
Yeah, or keep the freaking trash can next to you. Bro, nowhere here does it say that they're vomit-holics or anything like that, bro.
Stardust vomit-holics who can't hang in his mansions. And he didn't want to hang out with people under a certain subscriber
Mansions,
count.
they're Airbnbs. Calm them down.
Yeah, maybe it was at his house. Who knows? I don't know how many houses he owns.
Picked out my friends who weren't YouTubers, even though prior to this weekend I had gotten an Airbnb specifically for these friends to join us. But then Mutahar got a new Airbnb, claiming it didn't have enough capacity for my friends.
Where does he say that?
New Airbnb, claiming it didn't have enough capacity for my.
This is literally Nexpo saying, bro, I think it's a 3-bedroom and 1 couch. That's it. I picked Anaheim near the convention center because that's where we're staying at Nexpo, and I agreed we wanted to be close to the guys. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Lover's Getaway, Disney Lover's Getaway. Like, none of this shows what you're saying.
New Airbnb, claiming it didn't have enough capacity for my friends.
Where is he claiming that? Nexpo's the one who's saying, I think it's a 3-bedroom and 1 couch. What? Nowhere does it show this, bro. Max, I know you're struggling with understanding what context is, but it's the little thing that you can look around the word, context clues to tell you what the word is. Nowhere on here does it show that he is doing any of that.
But then popular YouTubers like Kelly, the Act Man, were more than welcome, even after being over capacity. This is a group chat.
Is he gonna read it?
Between me, Nick, and Ryan.
You're telling me you don't want to party with the Act Man?
Which is
I
crazy
love
too.
the party with the Axeman.
Which is
He's a
crazy.
good guy.
Which is crazy too, because it's like, yes, you are going to make exceptions for multi-million subscriber channels or tens, hundreds of thousands of subscriber channels. It's called networking, buddy.
And depending on whenever this was all taking place, before all this drama, that might have been whenever the Axeman was talking about Quantum TV. That was some pretty big drama. That would have been like, hey man, let's talk about that. That would have been entertaining.
Occasion when I hopped the fence of the Airbnb because we had no way to get inside, and my partner at the time was having a seizure. Ryan told Mutahar, and apparently he was furious that I did this. Do we have a plan for getting back in the house? Or for anyone to lock the front door? Sorry for the awkward situation, boys. Just trying to keep my girl happy. I fucking hate this. You're good. Just a weird situation. I don't even know what happened. This is what happened. Muta told us to get an Airbnb. A month had passed trying to get in a call with him to find one, and since he had been so unresponsive and we were only weeks away from flying out, I got an Airbnb that was close to everywhere we wanted to go and had the capacity to satisfy the needs of everyone we wanted to hang out with. Muta then immediately got a new Airbnb an hour away and did so without talking to any of us about it. And now that we are here, he is calling the shots for the plans, even though he can't commit to a plan, changing his mind to pick up Ryan, even though fucking offered. And then come to find out there is only one key for 8 people that belongs to the one person who is the least responsive and communicative out of all of us. And since my girlfriend was having a seizure and pissing herself in the car, I figured hopping the fence was a justifiable action to get in the goddamn house.
This is all one-sided. This is all one-sided information. This is your point of view as to what happened.
Since he has been inviting people to the property the entire time, either with or without our knowledge, including a party that we were only informed of because a guest told us about it, I thought it would be fine if I had 2 quiet people sleep over, since their hotel I booked for them would not let them check in. And now they're upset because I didn't ask if I could have these people sleep over. People who wanted to cook for them and people who helped me clean the house. Notice the 5 to 10 bags of trash in the garbage cans. Notice all the chairs from the backyard are now inside. Notice the loaded dishwasher. Notice the clean towels in the dryer. That was all of them. I'd appreciate if y'all didn't tell him any of this. It does piss me off, but I don't hate Muta. But at the same time, this is absolutely fucking ridiculous. And
Okay, if that is true, yeah, that's a dick move to do, 100%. But we have no evidence that this is the case. You've showed us, prior to this, you showed us 2 conversations of an Airbnb being there. You made the claim that he did it because it was not big enough, the first one that you got. There was nothing showing that that was the case. You're cherry picking conversations here, and none of it is showing what you're saying. The only thing that supports what you're saying, funny enough, is your text. Like, that's it.
And it's your text that you're just reading off of that just explains what happened.
Yeah, it's literally just you reading your own point of view.
The last time I ever saw Mutahar in person. Things between Mutahar and myself.
Hey man, didn't get to link up last night. Love you. Wonder if you're good. Yes, sir. Just got home. Thanks so much for checking out. Heard y'all pass out. So did I. If you don't mind, could you check this out and let me know what you think? Sorry, bro. Just got back online. Hey, Muta, blah, blah,
Still
blah.
amicable until my last project. And that brings us to October 23rd, 2023.
Hey Muta, I hope you've been well. I don't want to bother, but I thought you might appreciate a heads up about an upcoming project of mine. I'm on the verge of releasing a video for Halloween that is likely to generate significant drama. While it may be deemed controversial, the intent behind it is for charity. The video is designed to be a trap for reaction channels. Knowing your integrity and the quality of your content, I would hate for you to be caught off guard. At the same time, we would be honored if you would consider covering this in a thoughtful manner. To facilitate a deeper discussion, may I include you in a group chat with other influencers who are also considering covering this topic. If confidentiality is not an issue, I'd be more than happy to send you the video under a non-disclosure agreement. This will allow you to become familiar with the video's content before it goes public, enabling you to navigate any provocative elements we've included. Look forward to hearing from you, Max. Now, to understand, initially I read this and said, I'm down to hop in, man. Good to hear from you. Hope everything is well. And again, Max says, it's good to hear from you as well, bro. I'll add you in a few moments. Hey, Muta, just wanted to know your thoughts within the group chat. Now, if you notice the exact dates of these messages, you'll probably pick up that around this time in October, I was already busy with a massive investigation under our belt. In the following weeks from my response to Max, I would release a video on the Completionist and further investigate that situation with a fellow YouTuber known as Carl Jobst. I was also in and out of the country for personal reasons, and I wasn't really able for anything else, I wasn't really available for doing anything, as you can assume during this time.
Not sure why he's making it seem like he was so busy working on much more important projects when the actual videos he uploaded during this time don't quite match what he's talking about.
Head on over to manscaped.com and get your hands on the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra today. Now,
Dude, he was leaving the country, knew he wasn't going to be around to make videos, so he pre-recorded a bunch of videos to release during that time. How difficult is that to understand? How difficult is that to understand? We've done it. We've done it where we record a bunch of different small videos in a day and release them as for the rest of the week so that way we have time to do other stuff. And he didn't say that he was doing something more important. He said that he was already in the middle of doing something that was extraneous. Jesus Christ.
Somebody
Max.
who's been on the platform as long as they have would understand the ins and outs of, like, you know, content creation, staging your content and making sure, like, not staging it, but like setting it up for scheduled uploads and all that.
Especially somebody who takes as much time as Max did to upload his videos.
I made a video in regards to the Metal Gear Master Collection for traveling across Japan for free by begging and hiding in train toilets.
Maybe he's on like a really important video call. No, I'm talking about vag beer.
Now, I'm not trying to throw shade at him for making lighthearted.
Okay, this one was probably done while he was out and about doing stuff. He's doing it in his freaking car.
Literally.
Like, what did you expect him to do? I'm sorry. Could he have taken a look at your stuff? Yes, absolutely. But did you want him to be doing a freaking react in his car? Like, it's obvious he's traveling at this point in time, more than likely.
Content, that is perfectly fine. But when he's tricking his audience into thinking he wasn't really available for doing anything,
I wasn't really available for doing anything.
Besides the very important topic that he's covering, he's just lying. He's just trying to make me look like an asshole just because I am following up with...
You are an asshole, bro. You sent freaking Charlie like 40 unanswered DMs. You are an asshole, bro.
Which is perfectly normal in every professional and personal setting.
I was mostly away from Discord, and if you really wanted to contact me, using Twitter to directly message me or calling me on my personal cell phone is usually the best tactic, which a lot of people in this scene, you know, if you need to absolutely contact me, have.
So I actually do have Mutahar's personal phone number, but I chose not to call or text him about this.
Why are you putting your cell phones in your video, bro? Why are you putting your own cell phones in your video, dude? Jesus Christ. So I chose not to message him and only messaged him on the one app that he doesn't regularly check.
Event that he was busy with other things, specifically so I'm not crossing a personal boundary or spamming him.
That said, I can't confirm what happened in the group chat Max invited me to, as I honestly don't remember checking it, nor which creators were in that specifically.
Well, allow me to provide that for you. The group chat was just an attempt to have open communication between creators about the project so they can ask questions and we can address any concerns all in one place.
So a few days after inviting...
I'm going to have to go back and read all that on my own.
I doubt it. Yeah, there's a whole lot to read here. There's a ton.
Well, allow me to provide that for you. The group chat was...
Dude, and he's not even freaking blanking out these people's names. Jesus Christ.
An attempt to have open communication between...
Assume Sniper Wolf herself correct. The group name is a joke. Spencer, blah, blah, blah. Was the most
Creators about
influential.
the project.
Would be great to call these influencers. Thanks for your input. Blah, blah, blah.
They can ask
Big
questions.
Okay, added. Yeah, voice critical added there.
Okay, this is what I wanted to read. Hi, Spencer. As someone who isn't super informed on this subject, this was my biggest concern, not to call you a liar or anything, but just to say for me personally, to report on something I require a high standard of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. That all of these things happen, but I assume it will be apparent in the subsequent videos after this quote-unquote trailer.
Yeah, it was a 30-second trailer that he sent to Diorio, and then that's when Diorio replied, I don't really have any critiques, because it was a fucking 30-second trailer. How are you going to critique a trailer? And then Muta says, I'm with Tom on this one. These are very serious situations where I personally aim to have a breadcrumb trail that is irrefutable. This isn't to state you're a liar. This is just for the video. Covering something in a way that can't be refuted by the accused party is the best possible thing to do. For that, we need as much evidence as possible. Max says, I am currently exporting the 5-hour
I want to read this. Scroll it down. Can you play it to where it scrolls down just a little bit? I am currently exporting the 5-hour interview. I will send it promptly. The interview contains extreme detail that only a survivor of Camden could possess, providing an unparalleled look into the inner workings of the organization. Additionally, we have a substantive body of evidence that includes written records of conversations between victims and the abuser, photographs capturing their time together, and video clips where the abuser is actively propagating the cult's ideologies. I will let Spencer send it if she is comfortable doing so. All right, I'm done with that part.
Okay. Additionally, we've seen so in regards to the evidence, we have an abundance, but are unable to share too much as we are planning to press charges and want our case to be as legally sound as possible. But I can share these. These screenshots are after myself and my friend left. One of the she had a recruitment page. One of them had One of the she had a recruitment page up, and someone had asked if we were still looking for people. When we said no, it's a cult. This is how one of the followers reacted, threatening us. We also have screenshots of Camden himself responding and him having one of the girls threaten my 4-year-old sister. These are some major claims. But
what in the fuck?
It's crazy because he supposedly has all this information that just isn't available to the public.
Concerns all in one place.
So a few days after inviting me to this group, Max inquires and asks, Mutahar, it's been a bit since we've caught up, and I get that your plate is probably overflowing, but I wanted to touch base again. Sorry if our previous chats have been a bit heavy. These issues are really close to my heart, and that's exactly why we need to keep the conversation going. You've got a seriously powerful platform, and within your reach, we could really make some noise for the betterment of children's lives. Just a little bit of your time could go a long way. No pressure to dive into the subject, but if you could spare a couple of hours for an interview, I believe we could spark some real change. Is there a time that works for both of us to sit down and talk for an initial engagement? A few days later, Max says, I'm reaching out again because the voices of child survivors cannot be ignored. I've shared their...
It's such a loaded fucking... I hate that stuff so much. It's so loaded. Max, you hide behind your supposed victims like nobody's business. If there's one person who has used them more than anyone else, it's you, Max. You use them as a sword and as a shield.
With you because I believed in your capacity for empathy and action. Your silence so far has been disheartening, but I still remain hopeful. Please understand, we are determined to be heard and will continue to seek influencers who have the power to do something heroic. Watching the attached video and acknowledging their plight is all we are asking right now. I hope you will not let us down. Now, obviously, the end of this, you can see that it becomes very apparent that Max is emotionally guilting me.
Technically, ChatGPT is the one emotionally guilting you.
You're the one who sent it, bro. You're still using ChatGPT. Well, not.
You want us to assume that when you respond, it's with ChatGPT?
Yeah,
I don't do that. I don't text Kmplxity and be like, "Oh boy, I hope he doesn't use ChatGPT to respond to me."
How is anyone supposed to know that that's ChatGPT, bro?
and promoting a topic that I haven't actually seen much concrete evidence on, nor do I know much about.
Oh my god, it's almost like that's why I was trying to communicate with you, buddy. That's what communication is for.
No, it's not what communication is for. You could very easily put all of the information you have in that Discord server so somebody can go back and take a look at any point in time. And Mr. Discord NDA, considering you're talking about possibly suing Mutahar for breaking it, you wouldn't have any worry about it leaking out because of your little Discord NDA.
Because I'm working on another video for my channel as well, a very serious investigation that I have to be 100% on.
Just for context, here's my point of view.
Don't really care. It was an actual serious investigation against the quartering. It was like one of the biggest, not one of the biggest, it's one of the more recent big scandals other than like Keffels and all that. It was a big drama within the YouTube commentary community.
That I don't like is recently they released the PlayStation 5 digital disc drive.
He was working on an investigation against the quartering, you moron.
Hey, wait a second. Now, I needed to know about that digital PlayStation drive, all right? Let me tell you.
I'm sorry, but at least this stuff has facts in it.
Xbox third-party accessories is uninformed, badly researched, and misguided. Now, if you go to Temu's website, you'll find out, whoa, they got a Black Friday pre-sale. Activision was ballsy enough to put a goddamn playable terrorist attack mission into a video game. What if I told you karma is real, a scumbag?
And it was badass as fuck because it's called being intense, all right? I like my Call of Duty the way it is. A little bit jarring every now and again. Fuck off.
Bro, no Russian.
Bro, you grew up that day when you were a young lad and you just got home. You're like, oh shit, I'm gonna play the new Call of Duty, and then you load up that shit and you realize you gotta be the one that shoots a civilian. It changes you.
You ever think Hassan played No Russian and was like, dude, can we make a Jew version of this?
Probably.
Been sent to prison. It's a video where apparently I will be honest. Yeah, I think I'm defending XQC. Now I know that I crapped on the Metal Gear Master Collection. Part of me doesn't really feel bad for NFT
Respectfully
users
so.
because
Have you
they've
seen
shown a consistent pattern of stupidity. GTA 6 is finally announced. Boogie himself is a liar.
That's
Boogie
ironic.
himself is a manipulator. Do you want to get a share of that
Ooh,
$12
yes, he
billion
is.
pie? $12 billion, please. give
Funny
me
that
a
all
little
the
bit.
videos
So
that
when you-
he's talking about in this are relatively factual and like
Yeah.
not like
There's an actual evidence to what he's talking about. It's crazy.
it is also proving his point earlier where he's like, I don't really normally dabble in that darker stuff. I tend to talk about tech and video games and like off the wall shit, not dark shit. It's almost like you're proving his point again.
Funny you say that while the video on screen is disturbing sites on the deep web. But it's one out of like 5 videos that he showed.
Exactly. That's the point. He showed like 4 or 5 different videos. Oh, guess what? Number 6 is a dark topic.
Week after week, a very serious investigation that I have to be 100% on.
Huh.
Because it doesn't publicly exist, at least the evidence as far as today.
So why does the evidence...
Dude, you don't understand making a short 20-minute, 30-minute video or something and then spending the rest of your time doing the investigation? Like, come on, bro. Listen.
Bruh.
He's just not that into you, man. He just doesn't like you the way you like him. He checked no on if you like me. Like, I'm sorry. Same with Charlie.
He just wanted the short fuck. He just wanted the short fuck. He just wanted to be the one night stand, all right?
Pound and
He didn't want to
bounce.
commit to you.
to exist in the public before it's worth your consideration. The survivors wanted to share their evidence with you in their private server that you signed an NDA to protect. And
Oh my god, we're still going off the NDA, bro. We're still going off the NDA. And now you're doxing this person too. Bro, come on.
in your time there, you did not speak to anyone, or ask any questions, or conducted any investigation whatsoever. It seems you...
Oh, he was conducting an investigation, just backdoor investigation. He wasn't... That's where you're wrong, Max. You just didn't realize you were the one being investigated.
a glance, you did not see any CSEM, and subsequently leaked disinformation to the public that there is no evidence, that you later changed your mind about.
The fact that throughout this entire situation with evidence, like with witnesses and whatnot, that now I'm finding out that there is evidence, you just haven't established timelines. It really feels.
Oh my gosh, do you not understand what it means to placate somebody, to tell them what they want to hear in order to get them talking? Funny, Max, you talk about police, you'd think you'd know about this tactic in freaking interrogation. Maybe if you watch the call where they're actually laughing at this call here, you'd realize that they said multiple times that they were just saying things in an effort to get you guys to say more stuff. They lied to you.
Do you not realize that if they're like, oh, wow, shocker, there's evidence to support this, it's because you didn't provide the evidence beforehand for them to work with?
What it is, it's literally like, yeah, tell me more. Tell me, come on. Yeah, what else do you have, buddy? Yeah, keep talking. They're letting you dig your own grave.
Like, you haven't put in your full effort into this case.
And of course, he shifts the blame to me.
Max sends me more videos that have since been privated, originally unlisted, and these videos, according to the time frame sent, I didn't see since, as you can imagine, I was preoccupied with my own investigation.
Then why agree to watch them when I asked if you want to see them?
That's him agreeing to an NDA, not agreeing to...
He doesn't realize that it was a time-sensitive thing. He's signing an NDA for perpetuity.
And that's even him saying, I want your honest feedback on a 30-second clip, bro.
Can't help but notice you coincidentally keep leaving out context in your video.
Max.
Hold on. I want to see what he's trying to say. Is that it? Hold on.
Can't help but notice you coincidentally keep leaving out context in your video, but when you actually show the full context, the conversation looks a lot more normal. This is something he does throughout the whole video.
This video...
No,
it doesn't.
What?
It doesn't.
What? There is no context. There is no more context than there is less context.
There's nothing here, dude. There's literally nothing.
But when you actually show the full context, the conversation looks a lot more normal.
You're saying, sorry for the spam, I just want to keep you in the loop, bro. Why don't you? This is DMs. Why isn't this supposed evidence and context in the freaking Discord chat? What? I mean, I don't know if it is or if it isn't, but why do you need to be sending him in DMs if the evidence is in the freaking Discord where all the evidence is supposed to be?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
This is something he does throughout the whole video.
This video was never a cancellation on Charlie, but rather severe clickbait.
And I was 100% transparent about that from the very beginning of the video.
No, you weren't.
Which you failed to show for some reason.
This is a call to action disguised as a cancellation.
To draw eyes and then shift attention.
Then why did you say I could literally cancel you, Charlie? I'm the freaking pedo hunter. Bro, nobody in their right mind clicked on that video thinking, "Oh, this is just a ploy." Everyone who watched the video, their takeaway was that you were trying to cancel Critical.
Flee to the story Max is covering, and then focus on cults, misinformation, and artificial intelligence in our world. At this time, I respond back.
It's almost like I hypothesized that you guys don't care to respond to things until drama is involved. It's almost like that was the message of the video.
Yet such stories often receive a fraction of the attention granted to the latest internet scandal.
Max, I've seen your latest video and have caught up with this whole situation.
That's a lie.
I mean, at this point, I don't even know if, like, the guy that he's talking about, Camden Gerard Davis, may still even be alive, you know?
I think recently someone who wasn't related to the investigation found that he got, like, a parking violation or a speeding ticket in September of last year, confirming that he's alive.
I haven't seen the 5-hour podcast with Spencer.
Then you clearly haven't caught up with the whole situation.
Without evidence and without properly understanding the story, I don't know the proper accounts.
But didn't you just say?
I've seen your latest video and have caught up with this whole situation.
And now all of a sudden...
I don't know anything in this situation.
So which is it?
I haven't seen the 5-hour podcast with Spencer, who is one of the victims. She has her own channel.
Not anymore, because you and your friends kept bullying her.
Bro, the internet bullied her.
A 4 to 5 hour account of her involvement and experience with this cult that we are going to look into. It's quite long, and I feel the story could do with a bit more structure.
I agree with this. The original plan was to upload this podcast in unison with the documentary, which did have the structure we were looking for. However, Spencer wanted to make a trailer, and everything thereafter was highly reactive due to the pace of the situation unfolding.
This is a serious matter.
Yes, it is.
And I have no issues covering it.
That's a lie.
Is this something that you would now make a video on your channel?
Dude, this is retrospective. He literally, even Diorio just said, is this something that you would now make a video on? You're putting us in a position to have to defend Mutahar here. Is he wrong when he says he's completely caught up with the situation? You could argue he's not, considering that 5-hour interview or freaking podcast, whatever you did, still had no fucking evidence in it, apparently. So he would be completely caught up with the situation, considering the situation started with you saying you had evidence, them finding out you don't have evidence, and then continuously and subsequently releasing videos with no evidence. So he's pretty fucking caught up. Like, Jesus Christ.
No, I wouldn't. Ever. I would like the victims to seek proper restitution, but going it in this manner isn't the best.
But publicly ridiculing us on the live streams of people that hate me, who you literally call slop tubers, is better?
I mean, at the end of the day...
Where's the proof he called Tommy C a slop tuber? I'm not saying he didn't, but I'd love to see it.
Like, I told him, like, hey, I'll work behind the scenes and fucking build a story with you, like, to present it.
Nick?
What? In this manner isn't the best. I would be down to talk further.
This was done on 11/27/2023. The Diorio, this one was a year ago on February 5th. All right.
These victims and analyze this evidence.
Then why did it...
2023. Hold on. This is 2024. This is almost a year. This is like, what, November, December, January, February. That's 5-something months later. Huh? It's like multiple months later, bro. This is his stance months prior to them making fun of all of the dumb shit you're doing. Why? And, you know, it makes sense why you're not showing the dates and time in which you're pulling these clips from.
Why would you do that without talking to us?
If their claims are as solid as it's being depicted, and at this moment, Max had literally called the person in this video, he wasn't alleging, he was actually materially accusing them of
dangerous cult led by a child predator.
So these were very, very serious accusations, which need to be matched with very, very serious, corroborative, ironclad evidence.
And in some ordinary gamer's video, MamaMax is a complete fraud. You weren't alleging. You were materially accusing me of being a fraud.
Which you are. You are. What part of that do you not understand? You are a fraud.
Really, you offered evidence, but you didn't give any.
Exactly. You're a fraud. You even admit that like 90% of your videos, or let me rephrase, you even admit that a majority of your videos is complete fabrication. That fabrication, I'm pretty sure, is a synonym for fraudulent activity. I mean, if we if we fabricated ourselves a new social security, we'd be hit with fraud. If we fabricated money, we'd be hit with fraud. If we fabricated, fabricated goods and services, we'd be hit with fraud. Like, bro.
Carefully, like, I'll never say somebody is a like scammer or like a or something, unless I have something that I know is 100% in court, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I know that I can get away with saying a lot of things.
What Mutahar is doing is called special pleading, applying standards, principles, and/or rules to other people or circumstances, while making oneself or certain circumstances exempt from the same critical criteria, without providing adequate justification.
Bro. You mean like how you said that allegations could be evidence, and yet then turned around and said that the people your ex is making allegations against you isn't credible? Like, come on, dude. Oh my God. Special pleading is often a result of strong emotional beliefs that interfere with reason. That sounds a lot like Max.
So Mutahar says that I can't make these claims without presenting very, very serious, corroborative, ironclad evidence. Yet he does not apply this same rule to anyone else, including himself. Because if this is in fact what you actually believe, and you're just going to start creating universal rules that affect freedom of speech, are you going to start...
What? What universal rule is he making that affects freedom of speech? What? When did he say that you can't? What? He's saying you can't make unfounded accusations. Holy shit.
Videos on why Dan Schneider is innocent because there is no very, very serious corroborative ironclad evidence to prove he ever committed any crimes. So the point you are making literally serves to silence victims.
That is the unfortunate truth of the legal justice system. That is the unfortunate truth. Well, what that documentary did discover and did go over was that there were actual fucked up people that actually committed crimes and actually had trial. That's part of what he was showing off.
The investigation didn't find... Listen, there's two different types of courts, okay? There's the court of public, okay? There's the public court, right? Us, everybody, the court of public opinion, and then there's the not the legislature, but then there's actual legislative court. Like there's, where you go before a judge, yada, yada, yada. So he may not have been found guilty in actual court, in legal court, but he was found guilty in the court of public opinion. Max, you could be found guilty in both.
Did any crimes. So the point you are making literally serves to silence victims who have been wronged.
No, it does not. Dude, oh my God. The leaps, the bounds, the stretches, the everything. He's saying he doesn't want to put his name to something that doesn't have any actual evidence. They went against Dan Schneider because they believed they had enough evidence and a court ruled that they did not. That's what happened.
Have no evidence to prove a crime has been committed, which is quite common among cybercrimes against children, like on Kick Messenger that keeps everyone anonymous and deletes all of its own data, which was the main source of communication within the cult of Camden.
One of the things that's the hardest to suspend disbelief on is this is a cult leader, allegedly, right, that uses social media to groom children who also has no online footprint.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things, because even last night I was looking up, Cameron Gerard Davis, and it was like, this guy's not alive, this guy's not there. And I would consider myself to be pretty good at finding, shit in cracks and crevices of the internet. So I consider myself pretty good at it. Could not find shit on Cameron Gerard Davis or that cult, which I think is incredibly suspicious.
I know more about Camden's family than I know about Camden through this investigation. And I don't know a single fucking thing that he's done definitively. And that's absolutely the problem.
Okay. So the fact that this predator is intelligent enough to keep his online activity anonymous, to the point his family is easier to find than he is, goes right over these stupid people's heads, which leads them to assume he isn't operating a cult because they can't find anything on him, which...
No, you fucking moron. What they're saying is you're claiming he exclusively uses social media in order to lure kids into his supposed cult, yet they can't find anything on his socials. You haven't provided any of his socials as far as we can see. You're freaking going back to this Cancid guy.
You're saying that there is a digital footprint and a digital footpath to follow of things that led up to this event. What they're saying is they can't find that digital footprint. They can't find the digital footpath that you're talking about. They can't find the same evidence. They haven't been able to recreate the same things that you've done to find the evidence that you have.
And
Supposedly.
and using the freaking using the closed captions because he's saying Cameron. Listen, do you know how many people don't know his name is actually Camden, and they all call him Cameron Gerard Davis? Like,
Okay, now you can call him Cameron.
yeah, like just because he's saying Cameron doesn't mean he didn't actually search Camden. Like, does it go in your favor? Sure, fine, whatever. But you're making a claim that this dude primarily, if not exclusively, utilizes online social media platforms in an effort to get people into his cult, yet they're saying they can't find a single digital footprint about this person.
Something we already made clear on the 5-hour podcast they did not watch. These fucking idiots have clearly never investigated anything beyond the surface. There are global
Apparently, I need to watch
cybercriminal
this 5-hour podcast because I still don't know. I don't know either.
organizations that are so sophisticated and advanced, even multiple government agencies will struggle to expose them, just to find they are operated by a single person.
The videos you produce
But you're utilizing what you're saying is, okay, I don't have evidence, but the reason I don't have evidence is because they could possibly be doing these things. I don't have any evidence to state that they are using these things, but they could be using these things. It doesn't work that way. You're finding information to fit your narrative, not finding information and then drawing a narrative out of it. That's not how it works. You don't find evidence that supports your theory. You formulate a theory surrounding the evidence you have.
Damn Cameron.
Camden. Maybe this is why you couldn't find him, because you couldn't even get his name right.
A lot of the screenshots don't punch hard since they're on screen for less than a second and lack the required context. If you want this person to be damned and attract the attention of a broader community, we need to sit down and piece this together out from beginning to its current stages in a damning but digestible manner.
I agree.
The story has a beginning, and we need to start there.
Well, there was a 5-hour podcast you never bothered to watch, so...
And that's where I'm going to leave these messages at, okay?
Nobody, you don't get to just cherry pick DMs without...
Bro.
Hold on. I want to see these DMs he's about to show. Maybe he's cooking. He's cooking.
I do too, but that's so hypocritical.
Consequences. I'm going to leak everything. I inform Mutahar of my project. He agrees to participate. I ask for his thoughts. He doesn't respond. I follow up with him. He doesn't respond. I follow up with him again, and he finally responds. He explains why he was gone and affirmed that he's still interested. I apologize for my sense of urgency and ask for 2 things: a conversation with the survivors and his advice. He doesn't respond, so I make a video requesting for influencers to listen to the survivors for 15 minutes. He doesn't respond, so I ask for feedback on the artificial drama of Charlie. He agrees to watch.
No. You asked for honest feedback on a 30-second clip. No. You didn't ask for it on the artificial drama with Charlie, bro.
In the loop, he doesn't respond. I finally drop the video, and he finally responds. He claims to have caught up with the whole situation and gives me some feedback based on his limited understanding of the situation. I thank him for his advice.
No, you're not going to read it. So in response to what Muta said, you said, "Thank you so much, Muta, for your thoughtful and detailed response. Your perspective is incredibly valuable, and it's clear you've given it a lot of consideration." Big turnaround from you calling him and saying he's a liar. It's easy to get caught up in the narrative when you've been as close to the material as I have. Oh, is that a little self-reflection, Max? And I genuinely appreciate you pointing out the necessity of context, especially for those who might not make it through the extensive podcast. Oh, so you do realize that context is important. Your feedback is a reminder of the responsibility we have to present information in a way that is both accurate and accessible, and is something I take seriously. No, it's not. I agree that we owe it to everyone involved to structure this narrative in a way that is clear, comprehensive, and compelling. I'm looking forward to discuss this with you and with you further and finding the best way forward. Let's set up a time to talk more in depth. Here's the link to the server. Please let me know what time works best for you, and we can arrange a call to drive into the details. Thanks again for your willingness to engage with this and help make sure it's done right. You seem awfully, gracious here, Max. You don't seem to have had a problem with what he said at all. Or is it that ChatGPT didn't have a problem with what it is that he said?
Invite him to the server. He requests to call in during a live stream. This is the first time he actually talks to me about this case, and it isn't much. I thank him for his feedback, and he doesn't respond. He goes on live streams with people that hate me, and I ask to chat with him privately. He responds only to bring up CSEM allegations on the YouTube drama subreddit. I explain the mega drives to him. He ignores what I say and thinks that the cult survivors have CP on our server. I explain to him that that is not the case and re-explain the mega drives to him. He claims that Mega takes down CSEM from a fingerprint match, which is not true according to Mega's actual policies. I re-explain the mega drives for the third time and share a video timestamped with what I'm talking about. I try to understand what did who say regarding the mega drives. He says the mega staff. I explained that I was not in charge of the mega drives. I passed my evidence to my team who uploaded it to Mega. I then explained to him that I'm open to answering more questions.
Which is even crazier. He gave all the information that he claims puts pedophiles away or exposes pedophiles to somebody that no one can get in contact with, and immediately deletes any account in which they have after uploading it to the email that he doesn't even have the login for. Why would you give such sensitive information to somebody that nobody can verify, nobody can ask questions to, seemingly doesn't even fucking exist, and that you would have zero access to? Why does that? That doesn't make any sense?
Have you heard of Mega until today, or until at least this whole drama came up?
I've never heard of Mega Drive.
Me neither.
Like, it's crazy. Why would you give all your evidence to somebody that you like? Why would you give all your evidence to someone who puts it somewhere in which you have zero ability to look at? What happens if they took your legal name and everything and put it all on there and was posing as you, and it legitimately did have CSAM on it? Now you're on the hook, and seemingly you don't have a way to get in contact with this person.
And that there's a lot of misinformation,
or at least we don't,
spreading around, and if he can just platform me or the survivors to give our side. He doesn't respond until I start streaming again. I thank him for his input on stream, but explain. Thanks for your valuable input on our stream. While we appreciate your advice, discussing these sensitive matters only in public settings is uncomfortable for everyone involved, including you, me, and especially the survivors. We'd prefer to handle such conversations privately, aligning with our initial request for discretion. We should continue these crucial discussions.
Bro, you can't ask for discretion and then go live. You can't ask for discretion and then go live. Like, that's just not how it works. Either keep it behind closed doors or put it all the way out to the public. There's no in between.
More confidential setting to respect and protect our survivors' narratives. Your cooperation in this would be greatly appreciated. We're also concerned about your recent appearances on Tommy C and Lyric streams, where you've shared views that contradict our case, especially after reviewing the evidence we provided. This has led to misunderstandings, with people now downplaying the evidence. We urge you to help correct these misconceptions, just as I'm addressing my own errors. Your careful consideration on this matter is crucial. And he doesn't respond. I had a call with Nuxtaku, who told me to apologize to Mutahar so that maybe he'll start to listen to reason. Mutahar explains that he...
Do we have any proof of that? Now that's crazy. That Nux and Muta are such good friends. What were you doing to talk to Nux in an effort to get that information exactly?
Working on a video trying to get to the bottom of this situation, when he has literally made no private attempts with me or the survivors to get to the bottom of this situation. But he finally offers a one-on-one call. I explain my conditions, requesting Spencer's participation, that he answers all of my questions, that I will be recording the conversation, and that he will need approval from the survivors who appear in this conversation before releasing it, as per his NDA. He asks why is the call covered by the NDA. He then requests DramaTuber Nicholas Diorio to participate in the call, and that he wants to prepare for the questions that I have for him. I answer his questions and explain why the non-disclosure agreement that he signed to protect the stories of the survivors would include a private call where we are talking about the case. We set up the call, and he tries to find reasons to breach his NDA. I re-explain the purpose of the NDA. The purpose of the NDA is not to inhibit your opinions.
Hold on. Regarding the NDA, we either agree to discuss some evidence for public dissemination, or omit everything outright. As you can imagine, this is a massive pressure point on the story. No one has seen the evidence aside from a few individuals. As you know, it's a tough point for me personally, since you've used my name to add credence to this evidence by using this NDA, have tried to inhibit my statements in how I feel. But by using this NDA, you have tried to inhibit my statements and how I feel about this, but we can discuss this all tonight, which is true. He did throw around Muta's name a lot and was like, oh, you can ask Muta. He's seen the evidence. And if this NDA was even enforceable, Muta wouldn't be able to say exactly what it is that he saw or didn't see.
It is to protect the survivors and their stories. You are allowed to disseminate the evidence to the public, but you have to get the permission of the survivors first. It is their evidence after all. You do not even need my permission, just theirs.
It's not how an NDA works.
And I then explain why I name-dropped him in regards to the fact that he was looking into the evidence, because he was already publicly discussing that he's seen the evidence. He tells me that I should have conferred with him privately. I tell him, Muta, I've been trying to confer with you privately for the past few months. He then credits himself as being the most helpful person to speak on this case and claims to be objective. He then says, I'll do whatever I can to help out in trying to have him prosecuted. I reply, I value your contribution and thank you for it. However, you said yourself that you might not be fully informed about the entire situation. Critiquing a case without thorough knowledge of the ongoing events is counterproductive. Cult psychologists, who are experts in this field, have approved the videos, and with all due respect, I place greater trust in their expertise on this matter than in yours. With that said...
So Max, what you're asking Mutahar to do is unilaterally agree with all accusations and essentially just say, watch this guy's video. You want him to do unpaid promotion for your content and unilaterally agree to it. That is what your NDA is.
And this whole cult psychologists who are experts have approved the videos. Well, no shit. It depends on what you're feeding them. Why don't we see those interactions? I didn't see any of them. Maybe we have to go look at his live streams or his channels. But there, you're asking. We don't
know what videos you sent them. You could have sent them some bullshit example of, oh, I'm being the hero of the story, and I have all this evidence. You could have sent them the evidence for all we know. Jesus.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense here. You're saying cult psychologists who are experts in the field, right? They approved the videos. Congrats. Amazing. Wonderful. Good for you. Did you tell them the whole story, or did you like I don't know. I guess we'd have to go look at Max's video log to see if he actually did has it up and he walked him through everything that was there.
Support would mean the world to us, and I thank you for taking the time to sit down with us to discuss this, as we should have done from the start. We have all made mistakes here. Let's take this time to fix them. He says, well, that's what I aim to do tonight and in the next few days, talking to everyone I can about this situation, and lays out what he's interested in. I thank him and we get ready for the call. We have our call, and Spencer re-explains the events she already went over in the 5-hour podcast that they did not watch. that then derailed into loaded questioning and baiting for emotional responses, shouting over us while we were trying to answer their questions, which resulted in us shouting back at them, literal misrepresentation of actual facts, and Mutahar sucking his own dick, calling himself objective and that he's been helping out more than anyone else. Mutahar covers this call later in the video, so we'll come back to this. Mutahar tweets out that the call did not go well and blames it on me, as if him and Nicholas had no impact on it whatsoever. I tell him that I saw his tweet and implore him to wait for his own sake. He then asks for incontrovertible evidence that is going to vindicate this situation. I then give a very long response, which I'll read out to you. The growing amount of evidence is the evidence. The growing amount
That's not how evidence works.
of survivors reaching out are the evidence. The consistency and complexity of
What's
the
the evidence?
testimonies.
Oh, it's the evidence.
The evidence is the evidence.
It's right there. What is the evidence? Well, it's the evidence.
The
It's
evidence.
right there.
We just have so much evidence. We're drowning in evidence. Can't you see
What
it all?
is the evidence?
the evidence. Please be patient while we are working with law enforcement before we continue our public campaigns and seek more survivors. If you need to see Camden Gerard Davis's literal devices before you are going to believe us, then we don't need or want you participating. With your power and influence, you are actively creating an environment that raises fear.
Quite nice.
I know.
Good idea what's going on.
Or
They
even,
would have more than what you have, Max. Come on.
or even, I don't know, any of his like supposed accounts that he utilizes to traffic these people.
Doubt for survivors to reach out, and enforcing the defenses for predators, especially those who are extremely intelligent, who use platforms like Kick that
Man, Cameron must just be like a 200 IQ pedophile, bro. He's just freaking.
Have you looked at him? Have you looked at him? Have you looked at him? Have you looked at him?
Yeah, he looks more like a 2 IQ, but yeah. But they're just like, oh my gosh, especially those who are extremely intelligent. And this random dude in the middle of nowhere, whatever the fuck he is, he's just this genius who just magically seems to just slip through our grips every single time.
archive of evidence like CSUM. Within the next few years, this case is going to blow up, and the truth will be revealed in time.
So then why is it so urgent right now? If it's literally, if you're looking at a multi-year long investigation, why are you so freaking ass mad about them not paying attention to it currently? It seems like you don't have evidence right now, but you're like, oh, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. Eventually, one of these days, we're going to get it.
Especially as we continue to hound law enforcement, find more survivors, and film this documentary. There are many personalities who are going to appear on the wrong side of history after this, and I am doing everything in my power to prevent you from doing that. I am trying to look out for you in private. Meanwhile, you are actively targeting and attacking us in the public eye. And those are not just my words. That is the shared feelings of the survivors from your behaviors. They want an apology from you, not me, and yet I am still the one taking accountability, because I know I made some mistakes. Please, Muta, take some time to think deeply and clearly about this case, other well-known documented cases, and yourself. I admit to my mistakes. Please reflect on yours.
I'm getting real fucking tired of this stupid harp or whatever the fuck is playing in the background, bro. Like, the death scene is over. It's been done and over. I don't need to constantly be hearing you take your last breath, bro. Get rid of this emotionally manipulative, sappy ass music.
I'm not going to attack you publicly.
It's the Oblivion Shop music.
Well, he used Skyrim, Halo, and Pokemon in the last video, so it makes sense.
And
But
Sonic.
if we are
Did you Sonic and
Oh yeah, he used Sonic, yeah.
into a position where we
Because everyone knows a very serious video has game music in it.
to respond to you, we absolutely will. and we are not afraid to do
I
so.
want my suicide video to go, my sewer slide video to go up with the Halo ODST, like the oh yeah, I want that. I want that.
I promise you, it is going to get very ugly for you and your brand.
That's a threat.
Each other brothers. Please treat me as such as I have been doing for you. There is absolutely a time and place for a conversation on false accusations. I am a literal victim of this phenomenon, and I would love to have a public conversation about it, even on your podcast, if you'll have me. But this case is not it.
Damn, ChatGPT was spitting with this. Dude.
ChatGPT really got in the field. Really
how can we take it? How can we take any of these DMs seriously when we know you've used ChatGPT to DM people in the past? How do we know that this is actually how you feel and not something that you just hit enter on a prompt?
He then ignores almost everything I say to highlight, what do you mean it's going to get very ugly for me and my brand?
Because it was a literal threat from the supposed pedo hunter, you absolutely asinine retard.
The way he responded to this will show you just how little he actually cares for the survivors.
If you go one text down, it says, I'm literally asking you for evidence. I never stated Camden is innocent. He's literally asking you for evidence like everyone else has been this entire time.
And how much more he cares about himself and his reputation.
You're threatening him. Yes, it would be a point of contention.
Literally asking you for evidence. I'm never stating Camden is innocent.
This is going to be the one thing that is going to sound so controversial to his camp. There's a chance that fucking Camden Gerard Davis could even be an innocent individual.
Yeah.
And treats me and the survivors like we are guilty.
He isn't wrong here still. He never stated he is innocent. He said he could be.
There's a chance that he could be.
There's a chance that he could be due to the lack of evidence that you have provided at this point in time.
There's also a chance I might get struck with lightning tomorrow, but and that's still a fact. I'm not saying I'm going to get struck by lightning. I'm saying there's a chance. It may be less than one. It may be less than one,
but it's still possible.
It's still possible.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Exactly. There's still a chance. When that baby stares at you and it looks like it might kill you, it's not likely that it's going to happen, but it somehow might.
It could.
I would just want to come out and just be like, "Fuck you! I think you're all lying cretins."
There's a great quote by Edward Snowden.
Oh God. There's no way you're invoking Snowden, bro.
Don't do that. Don't do him. He's got enough problems. Legal, federal, political.
He literally exposed Big Brother. Literally exposed Big Brother. You are not Snowden.
When exposing a crime is treated as committing a crime, you are being ruled by criminals.
No one's saying
vilified. You're not being vilified for exposing a potential pedophile.
Nobody is saying you're a criminal.
You are being villainized because of the way you are handling yourself to expose said criminal.
The victim mentality is strong with this one.
Poor job of presenting this. How is it bad for me to tell people to think critically and demand concrete evidence when blasting an individual? So I agree. I did make.
And it's funny right here. He says, let me be clear. That is not a threat. Let me be clear.
You told ChatGPT to go way too hard, and now you got to reel it back.
Yeah, let me be clear. The point when I said that things could get very ugly for you, that wasn't a threat. It was a promise. Bro.
I'm locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
So Max even realizes that what he said, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, what he said could come off as a threat. Bro, come on.
Poor job of presenting this. However, from all the streams and videos I've seen, I don't think there's a single time he tells anyone to actually think critically. And he is actually doing the opposite.
So I'm just going to say it like it is. A lot of people watching YouTube cannot critically think anymore. So when that video came out and I was like, I'm reading the comments, I'm like, yo, they're eating this shit up. What the I don't want to blame the audience anymore. I think.
What's the timestamp? What video is this from?
I think at the end of the day, it's like, listen, you guys up, but so did I, because recently something came out where I didn't even critically think properly. And this involves a close friend who you've heard on this channel, MamaMax.
I emphasize that what I said.
What a great example. You see, Mutahar, he even admits to not thinking critically when it came to me.
Got him.
Bro, you are iDubbbz too. You are iDubbbz, and you're posting your own L's, bro.
Not a threat. That is a promise, Mutahar.
What did I say? I called it. Oh my gosh. Fucking mic drop.
And as you can see, I am keeping that promise. He explained.
You're not doing any harm to his brand.
You told him not to come to school.
Yeah.
You told him not to come to school, and he came to school.
You're not hurting his brand any more than it's already been hurt. In fact, the Nux Taku shit hit way harder because it was all done publicly.
Oh, he went to school and he took himself out.
Cases can be ruined if accusations are made without solid evidence presented in public videos. He doesn't cite any sources or read out any legal definitions.
Oh my gosh, because, you know, he thought that you had an obviously, you know, general understanding, because it is true. Why do you think when the police are doing an investigation, they don't want you talking about your testimony with them? They don't want you talking to other people or they don't want anyone talking. If there's like a car crash, right, and there's 4 people involved, 2 in the first car, 2 in the other car, they take them aside, they get their statements individually, so that way they don't have time to go ahead and make a cohesive storyline, especially to find out who's in the wrong, what actually happened. You're an idiot, Max. This happens all the time.
He just says it. What about prior investigations that have faked elements? Want to continue our conversation? I've been unfortunately used as a metric of validation for your content, when in reality there are a lot of legitimate holes in your work. But you've worked with me in the past, and then lied claiming you haven't.
But I guess, could you speak to his credibility on previous stories?
I've never, like, worked with a previous investigation on the MamaMax stuff. I can't even say that I'm, like, the biggest...
Wait, isn't this a video he did on his own? This is a video he did by himself. This is even a video. Hold on. No.
Are you ghostwriter on this?
No. In the last video, didn't he say that he used this exact same video, I'm pretty sure, when he talked about how they did their own pedo investigations? I'm like 100. I am 99% sure that this is a standalone video that freaking...
He's claiming he gross read on this. He's claiming he has a hand in this.
Yeah, bro.
On some of his previous investigations. That's something that he never looped me in on.
Says do you have a re-upload for your vid? I'm sending it to my partner management. Gonna need an email. Among Us soon at Muta. Let me upload the video version to Drive and send the email to that. Hope something comes from it. Bunch of re-upload.
We never really talked about.
Listen, I don't care. Like some of these people that are in these, like, you know, these chats aren't surprising. It's just the people they choose to block out. I'm just like, ooh.
They're probably people outside of like the commentary sphere. Like Nexpo is not a part of the commentary, neither is Night Dogs. So they're probably people who are so like not inside the commentary sphere that they don't want that to like get to them.
We never really got it. The only thing close to it was like, I remember when we had that wake up YouTuber fucking there was a...
But this is all their own videos here, isn't it? That is our FBI variant.
Something that he never looped me in.
There's a bunch of re-uploads all over YouTube as well.
Really talked about it.
Hey Muta, any update from Ethan or Keem? Whip on the intro. Hell yeah, boy. Apparently, they aren't allowing anyone to access the site due to the VPN.
Investigation.
Eyes are halfway done. This might be around 18 minutes. They're all talking about their own. I'm going to make another video after ripping on this Pakistani channel tomorrow. They're all talking about making their own individual videos. He literally said that he's never done an investigation with you, though.
The only thing
a muffin burger of a chat. You're like dropping this like it's something spicy and useful, but
you guys, yeah, they're just talking back and forth.
Nothing.
This is literally the tea party chat where they like, hey, check out this video. Give me some of my pointers. Doesn't mean that they helped you with the video. I mean, maybe they gave you critiques.
That looks hot. I want to eat on that ass. Hold up, I gotta find out what's he responding to there. I
never let me on.
Hold up, I gotta
really
see.
Talked about investigation. Only thing.
Oh. It goes by way too fast.
We never really talked about an investigation.
What ass this bitch trying to eat off of?
I think it's this video right here. Oh, what's up? Age 20, is that okay? Oh, see, it's probably one of the people that freaking Nexpo or Night Docs was working. So they helped each other with videos, but he literally stated he was never in an investigation.
20, is that okay? Tell him he's hot. I want to eat on that ass. That's pretty bad without context.
Dude, Muta's not wrong here. Unless you can show a video of the two of you
and that they can eat off their ass.
Well, you can balance a cup on it. Unless you have a video of the two of you working together, I'm inclined to believe Muta on this, which is unfortunate, Max. He stated he never worked on an investigation with you. You guys are just sending your own personal videos to each other.
Close to it was like
or things about your videos. I went on and said, hi, I'm 9 and got bombarded yesterday. This chat site is so fucking trashed. Holy shit. Yo, they censored Max's name in the chat. I'm fucking dead. So they're not working together. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like more so they're all making this is during the time where they all made their own videos, not investigations, but their own videos about this crazy site.
When we had that wake up YouTuber fucking there was this hashtag, I forget.
Answer us pedotube.
Yeah.
You discussed even a couple nights ago with Nick that you didn't actually get any convictions despite publicly claiming. You claimed to have an arrest. Sorry, not conviction. No, buddy, I actually didn't claim to have an arrest.
But you didn't put him in jail. Is that fair to say?
I don't know if we put him in jail, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I made a
No. That's not true. Hold on. All right, Max, let's listen to what you actually said. Let's toss on some closed captions here so the whole family can see it, except for the blind.
And him alone.
I envy you as a game, right? You played the game and you exposed this guy.
Yes.
Do you mind walking me through the chain of events that led from your video to him being imprisoned?
Do you mind walking me through the chain of events that led from your video to him being imprisoned? In other words, arrested and put behind bars, sir. Arrested and imprisoned. And you said, what did you say?
Guy.
Yes.
Do you mind walking me through the chain of events that led from your video to him being imprisoned?
Yeah, so I dropped the video.
You said, yeah, I can.
So I dropped the video.
Yeah.
And I provided all this evidence to the police. And then, he wound up in jail.
Max, you oftentimes forget your failures. And I understand. It's difficult, okay? It's difficult. You don't want to admit them. But lying is not okay. Mr. Yeah, so
not in this community, mister.
So for you to sit here and use this half-baked podcast, like we can't just go find the freaking thing and listen to it for ourselves.
Is that fair to say?
I don't know if we put him in jail, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I made it.
Oh, so you don't know if you put him in jail? I'm sorry.
Do you mind walking me through the chain of events that led from your video to him being imprisoned?
Yeah, so I dropped.
You literally just told Tom you can walk him through the events that led to him being imprisoned through your video. What do you think? You start off by saying that he was in custody. Fine, fair. You don't have to be arrested to be in custody. You could be detained for questioning or being held, whatever it may be. Then you turn around and said, yes, I can walk you through the steps of my video leading to his imprisonment. And then you say, I don't know if I've ever imprisoned anybody. You flip-floppity like a fucking sandal factory, bro.
claim that a predator was in police custody based on information that I was given. That still has not been verified whether it's true or not.
So why are you pushing it out there? Why are you pushing it out there like it's true?
You haven't truly delivered any justice in the world. So I think exposing the platforms that enable this type of behavior is the best thing I can do until Section 230 is corrected.
I have to agree. Section 230, I do believe needs reform. Okay, I don't think it needs to be completely taken away, because then that allows people to make felonious accusations that a website harmed them in some way, shape, or form. And in this day and age, when people don't get their nicotine, they turn around and are saying about how they've been abused and how they've been hurt and FEFs. 230, 100% needs to be reformed. Yes, it does not need to be completely X'd out.
Getting an arrest is not justice, okay? As they just walk free within the same year. And exposing the platform is also the exact same thing you did when you were helping me. Because from my understanding, you did not get any arrests made from these platforms either, buddy.
But he's also never claimed to have gotten anyone imprisoned. He's never claimed to have gotten anyone imprisoned.
It's not that I don't believe a victim. Any arrests made from these platforms either, buddy.
I've paused so many times on Muta's face in such bad light, such bad ways, bro.
It's not that I don't believe a victim. Let's get in a call and interview each other about it. I do, but I also have to be critical of them. What is a call going to do that this chat isn't already doing? I disagree. I think if he actually wanted answers, he'd be more than willing to get in a call. But he already got what he wanted for his video, so he clearly had no interest in understanding. And furthermore, I think he knew I was going to interrogate him. Very well, then we have questions for you as well. What are your questions? I believe you asked what you wanted in our call a couple nights ago. Our conversation went unfinished when you left. So let's just finish it here then. Very well. But I don't believe we will have a meaningful conversation without some mediators. May we add some? I mean, you wanted to ask questions, so ask away.
True. Why do you need a freaking hand holder? Sometimes you do need a mediator because things are way too hot, kind of like Hassan versus Ethan, 100%. But this isn't a discussion. This isn't a verbal discussion. You have the ability to take time and walk away. If you're trying to add somebody, all that's going to do is add more text on the screen.
To the best of my ability. Why can't you, at a minimum, apologize to the survivors? You hear Spencer almost break down to tears, but somehow it's my fault when you are the one that said shit to start with. I apologize if I've upset her in any way. I believe in the call we had Nick apologized, and I've obviously co-signed the apology since he's the person I brought in, and we were having this conversation together. Oh, my bad, Mutahar. I didn't know that's how apologies worked. What shit did I say?
Ain't no way any dumbass is falling for no Vampire Twilight shit.
We should schedule a call soon to be clear and constructive, because a screenshot of a Discord chat is not enough evidence for the general public. If we can't come to a meaningful resolution, then please just go ahead and release your video, and we will respond accordingly. My video has nothing to do with your victims. It has to do with your handling of this case, more specifically, not your victims, sorry. The alleged victims of Camden Davis at the moment. I do apologize for making Spencer feel bad or cry, but I don't believe I've said anything that was inflammatory.
Dude, everyone just gets gangbanged in this universe, bro. What the f?
I'm being objective. I'm being objective on the situation, which is what you asked for in your videos to do. If nothing else, please wait for my video if you want to be more informed. I promise you waiting to hear my side before you talk about this will be beneficial for you and your platform. Yes, I messed up, and so did you. But I am proactively trying my best to rectify the situation. Creating more drama videos will only take away from the actual case at hand. We can either work together to repair, we can ignore each other, or we can waste precious time and energy bickering on the internet. I wish you the best. I need to ask, how did I make a mistake? I have been critical appropriately of your behavior, and you seem to mask any criticism here as drama. I'm not making a video for drama or to make any money. Clearly, this is a demonetized topic. I will have to discuss how you mishandled, and ultimately this serves as a wake-up call to the community as to handle this case. I'm not here to ruin a case. I believe you've done that on your own.
True.
If there is any compelling evidence to prove the serious allegations you've made towards Camden, don't you believe that should have come out in the first, second, or even third video you've made?
True.
Schedule a call if you'd like to actually come to a resolution. There are many more questions I would like to ask of you, and I'm more than happy to answer any of yours. We can do it privately, or we can invite any mediators. This current dialogue is not productive over text. I don't understand how it's not productive. I've answered your first request and apologized to Spencer just now. I consider that positive. Could you answer the last question I had? If you can answer that question, it gives me enough time to restructure my video and deliver a compelling video on Camden, and I can help explain the story in a way you have been unable to thus far. You have to work with me on this for the survivor's sake. You have to work with me on this for the survivor's sake.
Now, obviously, at the end of this, you can see that it becomes very apparent that Mutahar is emotionally guilting me.
I want to do right by the victims that you're putting on your channel. You know my platform relies on constant fact-checking. Because of the mishandling of this story, I've got numerous messages pointing out contradictions in the stories of the victims, which I hate having to see. I am objective. I am objective. I will try to do my best. I will even work with you on taking you off this case and having it sent.
It's crazy that the only person who is, it's funny too, because he's going after Mutahar, saying that he was the only that, like, he was laughing at the fact that Muta was stating that he was the only person that was actively trying to help them. And it's kind of made point in this video, considering he's not going after anybody else. He's not going after Diorio. He's not going after Nexpo. He's not going after anybody else who was in that chat log. The only person that seems to have had any sort of hand in all of this is Muta, which in the end of it all would mean that he was the most, not necessarily vocal, but he was the only creator that was actually giving Max the time of day.
Authorities or lawyers like we discussed with Nux before. My goal is that if there...
And apparently somehow Nux is wrapped up in all of this. I wonder what his response is going to be, if any.
Victim in a cult operation and hundreds are still victimized, that needs to be stopped. Currently, this story is filled with unsubstantiated public claims and needs to stop. This needs to be treated respectfully, not for anyone's career.
I just wanted to let everyone know that we currently have more concurrent viewers on my stream than Pokemane's first stream on YouTube.
Oh my god, a joke. Max, come on.
Very appreciative of Mutahar because he did help me out at a time this year that I desperately kind of needed a little push.
But for the hell these victims claim to have gone through. I've read the leaked police report of Kai. I also have seen a leaked report of her kit. I believe she's been through some serious trauma, and I know no one goes through a hellish experience like a kit for something like clout. In her situation, police responded, but unfortunately the
True.
situation was quite honestly wild. That's why it's important to present the story in a way that can be absolutely substantiated for the audience that you are trying to convince, and then also to make sure law enforcement agencies can better understand and deliver justice. Right now, you've put Spencer and Kai at the front of a very serious civil lawsuit against...
I will give this point and this point only at this point. God damn it, I said that too many times. I will make this point. This is way more messages that Muta has sent to Max at this moment in time than the entirety, at least from what it seems, than the entirety of their correspondence.
I don't want to see a person win who also doesn't appear to be innocent or a good person in my eyes. The worst thing in my opinion that can happen is a man like Camden, who's been alleged of inducing miscarriages, beating women, and possibly raping multiple younger women, is if they get to walk free and possibly siphon money from these victims. Spencer is making claims about her miscarriages that medical professionals I've conferred with are claiming a near impossibility. The worst...
Yeah, having like 4 miscarriages in 2 months or something like that, bro. The human body is resilient, but not that resilient, man. Not only that, but I'm sorry, could you even tell if she was pregnant? mean, I'm sorry. I think
there's also been multiple reports, and it's also very normal for HCG to remain in the system post miscarriage. It happens.
And where are these alleged?
There's a high possibility that maybe she just had her period while testing positive, that she maybe misconstrued. I'm not saying that she didn't have miscarriages, but there's possibility that maybe one of them was her period, and she mistaken it for a miscarriage because, oh no.
Well, not only that, but in order for her to test positive, that would mean that there was some sort of medical intervene. In other words, they would have to have gotten the test or gone to a place to be tested, which means there would be a medical record of it, or at least something. I don't think you can get a miscarriage test at CVS. I might be wrong, but
I'm assuming that whenever they say like, oh, she had a miscarriage, it's just based off of like what they've found in her underwear after the fact.
Yeah, based on her own word.
That's the only thing I could think of.
She could have been having a heavy flow day.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying earlier. It's like it could have been misconstrued, and I'm not saying that she didn't have them, but what Kmplxity is saying is that there is no medical evidence. And I'm giving the reason as to why there may not be medical evidence. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Right. No, I get you.
But there's better ways to prove that you had a miscarriage. I'm pretty sure doctors can figure that out.
They can.
Doctor, you get a report.
Yeah, they can test your blood to see if you've had like a miscarriage within the last year or something like that. Listen, not a medical expert here, but I do know that there's certain tests. It's the same way that you can go to it's the same way like on a routine checkup. Sometimes a doctor could be like, do you realize you've like been having mini seizures because of your EKG or something like that? Like there's a multitude of things. And so why is it that we don't have any, at this moment in time, any medical evidence supporting anything that she's claimed?
That sole inconsistency is now being used to attempt and discredit her story. What do you mean, by you and your commentary buddies?
Okay.
Dude, I fucking wish I had a uterus, bro. I wish I could ask these questions way better.
Oh my god.
The reason he's saying that is because him being a man asking these questions is looked at in the worst of way. Yeah, it looks bad.
I mean, even what I just said looks bad because it makes me look like I'm an asshole.
Yeah, but it's not the case.
I don't have a fucking vagina or a uterus. How am I supposed to know? I'm a guy.
But it is true. Listen, sometimes it gets clumpy, you know? I mean, it could also be due to could totally be to Spencer's diet. And I use that term loosely here, but it could definitely be caused by her diet and what she puts in her body. We saw from the last video that she was scarfing down Mickey D's and Taco Bell. That ain't the best thing for you, especially if you know things are going on.
That sounds really good right now. Don't be putting it down. Come on now.
No, it does sound good, but when you're obviously obese, like, and it looks like you're freaking.
Hey! I don't look the prettiest either, right? I don't have much to work with.
Yeah, but you're not being raped by a werewolf vampire hybrid. Sorry.
So you know I'm ugly.
I just don't understand. Cameron looks like a tiny little dude. We haven't seen a full body picture of him yet. Spencer looks like at least 280 pounds of like movement. Okay. I don't like, she literally, you know what's funny? In this phone call here, in the phone call that she's like, he's talking about, like they're saying that she's not credible. She claims that she picked Cameron Gerard Davis up by her hands and threw him through a wall.
Why didn't you do that before?
But no. So she did that to him and then stayed there.
Woo! Because you're that smart.
Oh my god.
Research, dude.
Goddamn.
Oh my god,
Pull a
bro.
Gipster in transition just for research, dude.
Oh my god, I hate this so much. She's retarded. She's actually and she thinks that she is like pulling wool over your eyes like we're dumb enough not to know this shit. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I love Xylee.
I'm going to say that I don't believe her, but these are questions that are now raised and we have to ask. The lack of cult knowledge is making me and many others seriously have doubts that this was an organized cult versus a group of teenagers who watch too much media and work their life off of that.
Yeah, which is another thing that can happen. If somebody has some mental disability, I mean, like you can, it's funny enough, there's a multitude of different like school shooters that have done that, where they have recreated the trench coat ones, the famous one, the first famous mass shooting at a school. I forget what it's called. And they will take these things because they're mentally unstable. They see it on TV or something. They convince themselves that they are that character, and they go and they start doing crazy shit. I have to agree with Muta here. It seems more like these people convinced themselves that they were victims. As far as the Kai person who actually got a rape kit done, do not know. I am completely 100% excluding you from this, okay? Anything that has been set up into this point and will be said in the future until further evidence shows, I am not including Kai in this disbelief of victims, because this bitch actually went and got a rape kit done. So you don't go do that for no apparent reason most of the time, okay? Most of the time.
But see, that's the problem. This didn't have to be a cult story. This should have been a story of an alleged abusive who lured vulnerable women. Oh, you mean like Keith Raniere or David Koresh or Charles Manson. Those kinds of...
Yeah, all of those have evidence, though.
That lured vulnerable women, right? Instead, now it's conflated with a cult story that involves constant mentioning of hundreds upon hundreds of victims that has yet to be substantiated. I hope after reading all this you understand I don't come from a place of anger.
I'm angry. I know, I'm legitimately angry.
That's Tommy.
Yeah,
that's Tommy saying that.
And well, I mean, I'm like I want you to tell me more. I like it's like the anger is good.
I have been.
That's Tommy. What that has nothing to do with Budar. Your clips don't even match with what you're trying to say, bro.
You're not talking to Tommy. You're talking to Muta.
Oh my god.
Implicit to some extent endorsing you as my friend, when in reality your content in the past has had some serious doubt cast on it.
Yup.
If I am to take your side, then you need to finally produce some serious, compelling evidence so I can stand by you. I don't deny the victims have been through trauma. I am concerned they've put their faith in you and you haven't truly done their story a modicum of justice. I come from a place of reason. I have done actual investigations and have delivered justice, but my investigations have been the polar opposite of your God cult project, and I know you also realize this. The advice I gave to you privately and publicly...
I mean, he keeps laughing when he says that he's being objective and that he comes from a place of reason, but he's not wrong. I'm sorry. Like, everything he's asked and everything he's stated has been stated by every single person within the commentary sphere. Like, he's not wrong. It is a place of reason, asking for evidence. And how is it that apparently this dude has victimized hundreds upon hundreds of people and you only are able to contact 4? 4 out of hundreds and hundreds? It doesn't make sense.
Same advice I have always given. When I work on projects, I make sure then I produce a piece that can walk the audience through serious claims and provide serious evidentiary examples beyond a victim testimony. I'm not saying testimony isn't important. It is. What's also important is present proper context and supplementary materials, not to convince your audience, but to deflect any possible question any skeptic can have. When you have a bulletproof piece, you can rest assured that your content actually matters, not just in its style, but also its substance and the peace it can provide a victim, in this case of some of the worst crimes humans can perform. Let's schedule a call soon, Muta. I believe there are a lot of misunderstandings, some on my part, some on the parts of others, and some just because it's such a complex case.
I don't understand the complexity of it. I really don't. There's a dude, he's on the internet.
Oh, you said the thing. You said your name.
There's a dude, he's on the internet and he's luring minors to a cult. That doesn't sound very complex. Like,
the only person that made it complex is you.
Like, if we want to get into the weeds, yes, okay, he's dumping all of his social medias once he finds a person. Okay, that does make it a little complex because then you have to find him within these realms, sure. But there's no real evidence that's been provided yet, Max. If there was, you would have made that video already. It's
so we know these chicks got screenshots of him being heinous.
Yeah.
Should take
chicks these days will screenshot anything and make you look like a fucking pedo. And you're telling me that none of these chicks decided to go, oh shit, let me screenshot this.
Well, not even that, but they apparently had, remember back not too long ago in the video, they showed a screenshot of him on an apparent social media account making comments. So they have, maybe they're dead accounts, but at least they still have accounts. That's somewhere to start.
Listen to each other's perspectives.
Point, man.
I don't think anyone does.
No interrupting or yelling at each other. Just try our best to find a resolution from here. Thank you for now taking the time to give us your attention. I'm about to head out, so please just give me a time and day, and I'm more than happy to answer your questions in real time. Enjoy your Saturday. Hey Muta, my video's almost done. Would you like to review it? Also, is there a good time and date we can have a conversation? Sure, let's review the video. Great, I'll send it to you once it's complete. Should be later today or early tomorrow. I'll review this video. I have a video planned for Tuesday, and depending on how you present this, and if you can substantiate your claims, I can alter how I present based on new, meaningful information. Awesome. I can't wait to come to a meaningful resolution, Muta. Sorry, Muta, I'm still waiting for approval from all the survivors. Are you still uploading tomorrow? I am. The survivors would like to know what time. My video's not about them. You do know it's about you? I'm not actually covering or bringing undue attention to the criticism they're receiving because of the lack of evidence out. The only survivors I'm talking about anonymously are the ones who've reached out to me. I am currently working with a legal team, and we're about to start an open channel with Georgia police, so I'm not really talking about this or the story until we can seal the deal on criminal action. Yes, we are aware. If that's the case, then we need to involve the survivors as soon as possible. Can we schedule a call sometime this or next week? I will only work with the survivors, not with you. Very well, I'll have them reach out to you. If they want to communicate with me, then they can sometime next week. So you can see his priority was the video on me and not talking to the survivors.
He literally said he will only work. It's so disingenuous, bro. He said if they want to communicate with me, then they can sometime next week. How does that mean? Oh my God, bro.
Serving as a liaison. I'm going to solidify things with my legal team, and until my only involvement will be covering the legal cost for this. Here is Spencer's Discord. That would be a huge help. Thank you, Muta. The survivors and I would like a clear explanation about what's happening in regards to your video about me. Why are the survivors interested in a video about your handling of the case? It's just about how you handled the case. Mutahar, you are so fucking stupid if you truly believe that your video on me had no effect on the survivors.
Obviously, I'd communicated with Max privately about the situation.
He doesn't respond. He doesn't respond. He doesn't respond. He doesn't respond.
He did talk to you about the situation, though. That, like, just because he doesn't respond to your message, your daily messaging, doesn't mean he didn't talk to you about it. Sure, it didn't happen, as much as you would enjoy. But at the same time, I wouldn't blame him if you're just spamming me every single day, dude. I wouldn't want to talk to you either.
Perhaps you didn't get blocked, bro.
For real, or muted.
Respond. I finally dropped the video, and he finally responds.
But as we are making this video now, it's evolved into an entire miasma of complete confusion for people jumping in.
And you didn't make it any better. In fact, you made it much worse.
I mean, what the fuck? If you're gonna call me a retard, call me a retard. I have been a retard here.
And if you're confused now, just wait until we dig in further.
And that's why I'm here now, to clear up any remaining confusion.
Now, it's understandable that the story actually belongs to Max. Max was the first one to bring it to YouTube.
Well, that's a cute little manipulation tactic right there. That's like saying the story of Jonestown solely belongs to New West magazine.
Oh my God, bro, the level of disingenuous. Oh my God. That's not what he's saying. He's saying that the story. Oh my God, Max, you need to stop drinking your own Kool-Aid, bro.
I can only take so much more bullshit.
NXIVM solely belongs to the New York Times. We do not have intellectual property copyrights over these stories, just because we're the first to tell them. The story belongs to the survivors.
No. Their stories belong to them.
Oh, but you want to make him sign an NDA?
It's just... He's saying...
Okay. No. The story is for anybody, guys. It's not just me. I'm just the first person to report on it. But hey, when I talk to Critical and a whole bunch of other people, including Mutahar, if they want to get in on this story, they got to sign an NDA.
What he's saying is...
Excuse me?
What he's saying is that not that this story in and of itself you own all rights to. What he's saying is that the story is yours due to the fact that you've been spearheading this. That it's your story to break. That's what he's saying.
What Har is doing is called scapegoating. Scapegoating is the practice of singling out a person or group for unmerited blame and consequent negative treatment. So while I can and do...
Why is he saluting a Heil Hitler?
He's just been doing a little too much yee lately, all right? He's just been following him a little too much lately.
Look at
consequent negative treatment. So while
I don't know how that was okay. I don't know how he thought that one was all right.
He's going full Elon Musk.
Take accountability for my own mistakes telling this story. I am not in control of other people's actions. And there were
No, but you're in control of your own actions.
Hundreds, if not thousands, of other people affecting and influencing and telling this story in their own way. And Mutahar specifically was speaking more on this story than even I was. And yet he wants you all to believe that the story exclusively belongs to my name and no one else. So,
oh my God, dude, you're taking such a literal stance over something that isn't meant that way.
He can deflect all accountability onto me. That all of this and everyone's actions in this situation are single-handedly my fault, just because I was the first person to present this story.
And when you're making incredibly serious claims like he was making, they require incredibly serious corroborative evidence.
And I agree. That is why we were inviting people to listen to the survivors in private, to give their testimonies and present their evidence to you.
You can't necessarily go to any YouTuber and tell them, hey, please say some of the most insane accusations you can make about anybody's character.
Then why are you doing that with me?
And do that basically on blind faith.
I don't want you to come in blindly and just do what I say based on what I'm saying. I wanted what is happening right now, a conversation with a survivor and her walking you through her evidence. I want y'all to get in and look at this with me and, determine what needs to be done from there.
Yes, I know that he said to people that there is evidence locked behind an NDA. But if that evidence isn't publicly available, you literally are opening yourself up to a very, very serious claim from this person.
We were more than prepared to take on counterclaims from...
Well, what it means is that you're locking this evidence like a freaking tier on a goddamn subscription base, okay? You're locking this evidence behind an NDA, which you're then utilizing as a deterrent.
Is truth.
Well, you're utilizing
accusations is truth, bro.
You're utilizing it as a deterrent because you're trying to use an NDA as a way to go ahead and be a legal not a deterrent, but a legal intimidation. So that way, if somebody doesn't agree with what you're claiming to be evidence as evidence, they don't have a way to speak out against it. That is what you're trying to do with an NDA.
Accused party. What we were not prepared for was influencers who signed the NDA to start leaking information and sabotage our campaign.
That also said, making these serious claims can only entice this person if they're actually, say, allegedly guilty of them. And it can cause them to go down and delete evidence so that if they know that they are under scrutiny or investigation, they might start actually getting rid of actionable evidence that can exist.
That is a risk with every public awareness campaign, whether or not evidence is publicly available or not.
If these people are potentially armed and dangerous, it could make them go above the edge, over the edge, and then actually cause harm to the people around them as some form of retribution to somebody online.
Again, this can happen whether evidence is publicly available or not.
And that's why...
Yes, but it's more likely to happen if it's public. That's like it really is. It's the same reason why a lot of lawyers are not wanting, or police, I'm not going to speak for them. It is the same reason for me as to why some of the laws when it comes to CSA and CSAM and stuff of that nature, we want them to go ahead and be very harsh, yes, but we don't want it to be certain things like, and I know this is going to be controversial, but like having the death sentence be for these things. Now you're going to turn around and be like, oh my God, Kmplxity, you don't want pedophiles to die. No, I absolutely do. The problem is if being a pedophile can lead you to the death penalty, it more than likely will then incentivize them to not have victims alive to tell the story. That is the problem there. That's the gray area that you have to deal with. Now, do I agree with them getting light sentences like 3 to 5 years? No, not whatsoever. But the harsher the punishment we make, the more they're incentivized to no longer have breathing victims. That is the thing. That is the folly here. That is the thing that you have to navigate into.
I can't get life in prison if there is no victim. Bang, bang.
Exactly. Like that's the navigation in this unfortunate situation. I don't have the answer.
Definition of a pump and dump.
I don't have the answer, but what I don't have the answer to this very, very complex situation, an actual complex situation. Would it be nice to just say, hey, take a bullet and put him down like old Geller? Absolutely. But the unfortunate situation is the harsher we are on these types of crimes, the more incentivized these people are to not have victims. It would be the exact same thing as if we had like rape be a mandatory 50 years or something. Well, guess what? It's a lot harder. There's a reason why the saying goes, no body, no crime. Like these are certain elements that have to be taken into consideration, and nobody likes to talk about it because everyone just goes, you're a pedo defender, you're a rape defender, you're da-da-da-da-da. It's like, no, the situation is way more nuanced than that. But at least a public available information to the people in which you're talking to, and not reinforced or threatened with an NDA, just in the off chance that they don't find this to be credible evidence. It's not something that a lot of people are going to want to throw their name in with. And of all the people who supposedly have seen your evidence, not a single one of them has backed you. So that should tell you something.
You have to be incredibly careful.
Oh, like how you were incredibly careful?
If Mutahar actually did have to sign an NDA to see the information, he broke that NDA with me because he told me in my DMs that it's what the evidence is.
Discord NDA, plus he lives in Canada. You have zero money. You can't afford an international lawyer. Stop.
The NDA was a scare tactic.
It was
just like it was legal.
Not only was it a scare tactic, it was also used as a way to like add credibility to what they were saying.
Enforceable in this situation. Like, I mean, I could leak out everything. What's going to happen? Are you going to sue me or something? Dude, I'll just fast track, hurry it up, and just release this fucking thing myself.
So Mutahar's trying to explain all the ways that exposing crimes can go wrong, and blaming all of that potential misfortune on me, instead of holding the actual perpetrator accountable.
Oh God, they're still
you're both focusing on the wrong things. I get what you're saying, but you're both focusing on the wrong.
There's still no evidence that this guy actually did any of what you're saying. Okay,
exactly.
Okay, leave Dark Course F alone. Leave that man alone.
Oh my God, play the video.
Because after all, if someone commits crimes in retaliation of being exposed, we should imprison the person who exposed them, not the perpetrator themselves.
You can't be making claims unless...
Well, if you commit a crime in your exposure, guess what? That crime nullifies your exposure. It's the same reason why police can't go breaking into a suspect's house in an effort to get evidence, because then it's thrown out. Fruit of the poisonous tree, my man.
You can 100% back them with evidence that would hold up in a court of law, let alone public opinion.
I disagree. If you have been wronged, but do not have any evidence to support your claims, you still have freedom of speech, and you should be allowed to use your voice, even if it won't hold up in a court of law, and that applies to the accused party as well. That is what I am advocating for, to use your.
The difference is the accused party has to prove that they didn't, that he isn't running a cult, that he isn't indoctrinating hundreds of minors. It's easier to make an accusation than it is to disprove one.
Because there are so many crimes that are committed, especially cybercrimes against children, without any evidence to back up that these crimes ever happened. The victim still has freedom of speech and should be allowed to use their voice to tell their story.
But she has. She had her own YouTube channel, a 5-hour podcast, had been on multiple calls, like, she has told her story. The rest of the world is just saying, girl, we don't believe you. Like, it's that simple.
Also said, I understand that evidence sometimes can't be perfect. Sometimes you can't have silver bullets sitting around. But if you have anything actionable at all, then it's best kept quiet until you do.
This is the type of shit that predators will say to their victims.
Oh, yeah. I totally... No.
What the fuck?
Yeah, predators all the time, they look at their victims and they're like, listen, you don't have any evidence, so you might, like, until you do have evidence, don't report me to the police. That's what they say all the time, bro. Just constantly. Oh my gosh, bro.
Do you realize how many cases would not have even begun without public accusations?
There is now nowhere left for you to hide, Larry.
More than 160 women say Larry Nassar abused them. It's one of the worst abuse scandals in the history of sports. And it went on for more than 2 decades. How did he get away with it? When USA Gymnastics got a complaint about Nassar in 2016, the organization paid the gymnast $1.25 million to stop her from speaking about the abuse. MSU has said.
So she took it. She took the money. That sounds more so like she is to blame. I mean, he's to blame too, yes. But she took $1.25 million to be like, you know what? That abuse wasn't too bad. Now that I'm riding around in my new Maserati, it's all good. Come on, dude.
One at the university believed that Nassar committed abuse prior to the newspaper reports in the summer of 2016.
We saw the worst scandal in history unfold.
We're also talking about an incredibly public figure like a U.S. Olympics gymnast coach, not bumfuck nobody in Texas. Okay, there's a huge difference here. It's not like Cam
did.
An
actual example of people coming out in droves to support the claims. Not you doing a call to action and literally crickets cropping up.
And Camden's not offering no 1.25 mil to keep these people quiet. You're really going to tell me that Spencer would have not kept her mouth shut had she gotten like 10 grand or something? Come on. Stop. This is a person and a public figure who is surrounded and protected by a conglomerate, a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. Very vastly different situations here.
Because a predator was left in power for decades.
But if you don't have anything actionable at all, then it's best kept quiet until you do.
But they did have actionable stuff in this situation. They had first-hand accounts, they had corroborating people, and you know what? They didn't just have the 3 or 4 people who all sounded somewhat alike. They all individually made reports. They all were investigated. They were all vetted by police officers. All of these different things happened. And the reason why it was hushed for so long is because this dude was part of a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. The U.S. gymnast.
Olympics.
Yes, like, dude, these two things are not the same.
are you putting out the worst piece of advice on your platform? This is literally the exact opposite of what actual victims advocate for.
I hope that by speaking today, you absorbed a small amount of light, a small knowing that you can't be silenced, a small satisfaction that justice was served, a small assurance that we are getting somewhere, and a big, big knowing that you are important, unquestionably.
And this is where...
Listen, I 100% agree that making statements, public statements and stuff of that nature can 100% bring awareness to this type of stuff. Agreed. But it helps to have whatever your statement is going to be clear, concise, and a digestible timeline, and for it to not be marked with so many different levels of mishandling like this supposed case was. These people aren't out here being like, oh yeah, so I did this, but then I also was here. Oh, and by the way, I also lived with him for a little while and he was paying all of my stuff. Like, oh my gosh.
You got to have the damning evidence for the other victims to go, oh shit, we got him. Like you got to give them comfort in the idea, like, oh, if I stand out or if I speak up, we have the silver bullet.
And not only
but
that,
if you don't provide that, why would a victim come forward and just be like, yeah, it was me too, whenever nothing else other than you standing up and saying me too? Anybody could do that. I could do that. I could be like, I'm a victim of Camden Gerard Davis. No, you got to have your silver bullet. You got to give the comfort to the people who actually need to stand up.
Well, not only that, but it also relies on the credibility of the person making the testimonial, in which we have seen that your main spearhead here, Spencer, is a non-credible witness.
Unreliable narrator.
Yes, like there's so many different things that you're not listening to, Max.
Part 2 of this video comes into, where we look at Max's rebranding, known as God Cult.
And that concludes part 1 of MamaMax is a complete fraud. The most serious video that Mutahar might have made in his entire career on this platform. Let's review what he did here.
Dollars to no donuts. He puts up a bunch of stuff on screen that doesn't matter.
Introduces the video by assassinating my character using logical fallacies and manipulative storytelling.
Like you. Okay, so 1 for 1, Muta and Max, same person.
He picks DMs and lies about the circumstances surrounding them.
The same way you did with Nicholas Diorio when you claimed that he watched your video and had no critiques, when in actuality he watched a 30-second trailer.
He plays Ghostwire Tokyo whilst harping about the importance of providing evidence without providing any evidence.
What does it matter if he was playing a game? It was background visuals for those who wanted to watch something and zone out. Who the fuck cares? Secondly, you're saying he's not providing you with evidence. He's not providing evidence. His whole issue is that you have yet to provide evidence. How can he show that you haven't provided evidence? There's no evidence to show that there is a lack of evidence. I just
0 + 0 still equals 0.
This dude's a fucking idiot.
So I'm not quite sure how this video proves anything, except the fact that Mutahar is a complete fraud. So if this is in fact your most serious video, Mutahar, I shudder to think what that means for the rest of your content. And this video only gets worse from here.
And this is where part 2 of this video comes into, where we look at Max's rebranding, known as God Cult.
The purpose of rebranding the channel to God Cult was a way to educate by demonstration. Here's the explanation I sent to the cult experts who were helping me with the documentary, which you can pause and read if you like.
Well, for your eyes only, I'm excited to share with you a rough trailer for our upcoming film, The History of Future Cults. The history and future of cults. It's not even mentioning Camden. This trailer takes an unconventional approach. It's designed to mimic the allure of cult-like content as a means for both demonstrating its potency and educating the audience about these techniques. While I acknowledge this experimental method diverges from the norms of traditional documentary making, I hope I have effectively incorporated your expertise to create a compelling and informative trailer. Additionally, I've embedded a QR codes as subliminal messaging within the trailer, which link directly to your institution, among others. This is designed to underscore the point of cult-like strategies can be exceptionally impactful. So, you know all about these manipulative tactics and utilize them on your audience, but you have a problem with people calling you manipulative? Wow.
Stuff.
Oh my God. My aim is to prompt viewers to scrutinize these techniques more closely. As this is not the final version of the trailer, nowhere in here are you talking about nowhere in here are you talking about Kmplxity Socials, werewolf vampire hybrids, and hundreds of children being encapsulated into this cult. My God.
Experts who were helping me with the documentary, which you can pause and read if you like.
This video, Brainwash Your Favorite Influencer, begins with a QR code and a text to the bottom asking viewers to send the video to large specific channels.
Yeah, this is called subliminal messaging, which is used by cults.
He scrolls a massive disclaimer. I need frame-by-frame analysis to read.
Yeah, that's because this is called a speed disclaimer, used as a form of compliance-based advertising, typically by pharmaceutical companies, but has also been used by cults.
2 key points from this bullshit that I found interesting to me was when Max had signified that this was fictitious materials, when in reality this is serious allegations we're talking about.
That's pretty funny, considering you never had a problem with this same exact disclaimer beforehand, even though it's present in all of my previous hunting projects, some of which you helped me with. So if this is in fact a big point of contention for you, why did you never bother to comment about it until this very moment?
Even if it is for legal reasons, can we actually believe anything that you're about to say and the people that you're about to name? That's a pretty big point of contention, and one that will
if you need that statement, then that means you're fabricating something.
Exactly.
Well, it poisons the well. That poisons the well, Max, not what Muta has been doing.
Well, I even say that, in my personal opinion, the whole for legal reasons is because he doesn't want to be sued by people.
Right.
But that wraps up part 1 of Max's video. We're halfway through his brand new video. Oh my gosh, it's just a whole lot of hoopla, a whole lot of BS that we've become accustomed to.
Not calling the pedal back.
Yeah, hypocrisy, contradictions, not seeing the forest from the trees. Like, there's just so much here, man. I mean, everyone's gonna enjoy it. Everyone's gonna be eating good on it. That's for sure.
You're gonna eat good.
Oh my gosh, guys, we are The Lasting Opinion. New name change and everything. We will see you guys in the next one. As always, I have been your host, Kmplxity, joined by the one and only Zeph. And we shall see you guys later.
Chaos brews inside the room. Voices of contention blooms. The king's eyes filled with boiling rage. Zeph steps up to the high stage. Explode the silence, break the chains. Never been a better name in the game. In this blood cast fiery flame, words like bullets in your brain.